She was the kind of person whose mind never slowed down. Even when everything around her was quiet, her thoughts were loud. She overthought conversations that were already over. She overthought decisions she had already made. She overthought du'as she had already raised to Allah. A small delay felt like a big sign. A little silence felt like rejection. And every unanswered prayer turned into 1,000 questions. At night, when the world slept, her thoughts woke up. What if this never works out? What if I am not good enough? What if Allah is disappointed in me? What if I am asking for something that is not written for me? She prayed her salah. She raised her hands in dua. But her heart stayed restless. Because even while praying, she was calculating outcomes. She was watching timelines. She was measuring progress. Her lips said, I trust Allah. But her thoughts said, what if? And that inner battle exhausted her. She wanted peace. But she also wanted certainty. She wanted tawakkul. But she also wanted control. And slowly, without realizing it, overthinking became her habit. Until one night changed everything. It was a night like many others. The same worries. The same heavy heart. The same tired mind. But this time, when she went into sajda, she stayed there longer. Not to ask Allah why. Not to ask Allah when. Not to ask Allah how. For the first time, she stopped demanding clarity and simply admitted her weakness. She whispered from a place of honesty, Ya Allah, I am tired. Tired of thinking. Tired of fearing. Tired of trying to control what is not in her hands. And in that moment of surrender, she understood a truth that no one had ever explained to her so clearly. A simple Islamic secret. Her responsibility was never the result. Her responsibility was effort and dua. The outcome had always belonged to Allah. She realized that overthinking was not a sign of caring more. It was a sign of trusting less. She realized that tawakkul does not mean sitting idle. But it also does not mean worrying endlessly. Tawakkul means doing your best, with sincerity and discipline, and then handing the rest to Allah, with a calm heart. She understood something else too. Allah does not ask us to carry the weight of tomorrow. Allah asks us to obey Him today. The future is not something we are meant to manage. It is something Allah has already written. That night, she stopped replaying worst-case scenarios. She stopped asking, what if everything goes wrong? And started reminding herself, what if Allah is protecting me in ways I cannot see? She began repeating a single name of Allah whenever her thoughts tried to spiral. Al-Wakil, the one who takes full responsibility, the one who manages every detail, the one who never makes a mistake. She told herself, if Allah is Al-Wakil, why am I trying to do His job? Slowly, something shifted inside her. Her situation did not change overnight. Her problems did not disappear. Her life did not suddenly become perfect. But her heart changed. And that made all the difference. She still planned. But she no longer panicked. She still worked hard. But she no longer obsessed. She still made dua. But without desperation. She stopped checking signs everywhere. She stopped attaching her peace to timelines and outcomes. When a door stayed closed, she no longer forced it open. She reminded herself, Allah closes doors to protect, not to punish. When something was delayed, she no longer assumed rejection. She reminded herself, delay does not mean denial. It means preparation. Whenever her mind tried to pull her back into overthinking, she gently brought it back with truth. If it is written for me, it will reach me, even if the whole world tries to stop it. And if it is not written for me, it will never stay, no matter how hard I try to hold on. That sentence became her anchor. She learned that peace does not come from having all the answers. Peace comes from knowing who is in control. She learned that Allah does not burden hearts without reason. Sometimes the burden is not the situation, but our resistance to trusting Allah within it. Overthinking lost its power the day she gave control back to where it always belonged, to Allah. She stopped living in imaginary futures and started living in the present moment. She focused on what she could do today, her prayers, her character, her effort, her intentions. And she left the rest to the one who never fails. For the first time in a long while, her heart felt calm. Not because life became easy, but because her trust became deeper. Not because her problems vanished, but because her fear did. She finally understood that Allah was never asking her to figure everything out. Allah was asking her to rely on Him. And that reliance ended her overthinking forever. Not numb, not careless, just at peace.